So Billie Eilish,
Okay.
she endorsed Kamala, which is really big news. Because what are her fans called?
She's got to have a name.
The Billheads. The Billheads, her and Phineas, they endorsed Kamala. Finally.
Oh, good. Phineas was in on it.
Well, of course. Phineas, of course they did. Because honestly, finally, because this whole time, this whole contingent of like alt, tweens has been like, who are we stumping for? Who am I going to go to the ballots for?
Yeah.
Let me wait for Billy. But that's breaking news, right? Like, because I thought she was a Trump fan.
Yeah.
I thought
she was a Trumper.
Yeah.
Total Trumpster.
I thought she was a real Trumpster.
Yeah.
This is as shocking to me as when Barbara Streisand did.
Yeah.
Streisand.
We did do, was it last election? We did do a sketch for it, but the joke was like, we always vote with
Mark
Ashton
Ruffalo.
Kutcher.
When's Kutch going to tell us?
Yeah, we were like, I always vote with Kutch.
Yeah.
And now that aged poorly.
Why?
Because he's like canceled and done.
Why?
Because he wrote the letter in support of
We both need to.
the other guy.
The Danny Masterson.
Yeah, but he can't do that when he's like the head of a foundation for like that type of stuff. I'm not going to say the organization name in the first like 10 minutes of this because we keep getting flagged for stuff. Like last episode, we got flagged for like climate change stuff. Like we were some conspiracy theorists when we were just talking about the brand, like the branding changing from global. I'm not even going to say, I don't want to say it.
Listen, I'm not denying climate change. Deny climate change. To talk about denial of climate change, we'll cut this out.
We're going to keep getting suppressed.
But no. I will say though, as far as like the Ashton Kutcher thing goes, I do always have sympathy for people defending their friends and their loved ones because
it is hard to accept that someone did something bad. I do agree. And
also there is something to like, I don't know, it's different. Obviously it's different depending on what they did, and what Danny Masterson did was obviously terrible.
Yeah.
But there is something to like, no, everybody should have like, hey, we are friends. Mm-hmm. You can speak to my character that you know of. Mm-hmm. Clearly there's this mystery side that you didn't know about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really get on. It's like the Cuomo brothers. Mm-hmm. When Mario Cuomo was, I forget, was he kicked out as mayor or he just was, I think he might have been kicked out.
I think he was kicked out, but shit, I don't remember.
Chris Cuomo, the reason why he got fired, not the real reason, but the reason why they say he got fired was because he was, as a newscaster, basically advising his brother on what to say to the news. And everybody was ragging on him. And I was like, first of all, fuck off. I'm not a huge actually, I do like Chris Cuomo. I like that he's kind of like a muscle guy. He's a bro. He's helping his brother. Of course, help your brother.
Yeah,
always help your brother. I would judge him more if it was like, Mario kept on asking him for advice and he kept on saying, no, I gotta be unbiased.
Yeah.
Fuck off. No, be a brother.
Yeah. That was a hot cold open.
I got more of this. I'm down to just go.
It's just me desperately trying for us not to keep getting in trouble. We tried to put it on Facebook and they already were like, nope.
I think all of I'm willing to bet if we could look at it, all of the algorithm dinged us come from things that I have said.
Yes.
I don't think you've said anything where the, Facebook's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Misinformation.
I don't know.
People are just afraid of facts. People
are afraid of facts. It is funny how Facebook is kind of now the most positive platform.
Yes.
Like, at least for us, like, because it always changes like who's where and what. Mm-hmm. All of the it's so funny because the online bullies truly are like the trolls are always like middle-aged mothers.
Really?
Like on Instagram.
They're
always the ones who are like in the comments like, she looks like a whore with that lipstick.
I've never noticed that.
And it's like, Brenda, relax.
I always thought it was like weird incel guys.
No, well, yes, but like if you open up like a TMZ comment section.
Yeah.
Or honestly, just like if you go on your explore page and just click like random people.
Yeah.
It's like half the comments are just like middle-aged women like bullying people for no reason. And it's like, what? Like it's the weirdest.
Isn't it funny how
it's parents. It's like retired age parents. Like check their search history.
Feeling like they're yelling into the void.
Yes.
Isn't it funny how social media was designed for, basically was, I guess most of it was designed like Facebook and YouTube, especially for people like 10 years older than me. Like that's who it was designed for. This is when it came out. And now it's like people 20 years older than me. They're the real power users.
Yes.
They're also the ones who buy stuff. My mom took a break from social media all summer, and she told me it was great. I saved so much money.
Yeah.
I was like, that just, what?
Yeah.
But you, I guess, because you do the same thing you said, right?
I'm a shopper, but I kind of like on TikTok shop, I won't let myself buy anything. I've not put my credit card information in because there's already like in my saves on TikTok a million things because I'm like, well, that might be fun. Maybe I'll look that up later. And I never come back to it.
No.
But if I had my credit card information in there, I would just be buying. So I would just be careful. But anyways, it's like Facebook now. Anytime we upload, it's like that used to be like Cyberbully Hub.
Yeah.
But now it's like every time we post something, all the comments are positive.
We have the greatest Facebook audience.
Oh my gosh. We go on YouTube Shorts audience is maybe the meanest men in the world.
Well, YouTube Shorts is because it's a different algorithm. It's sending it to the
specifically like Gen X men use Shorts.
Yeah.
I'm going to like assign everyone.
It is Gen X men. It's the newly, freshly conservative.
Yes.
It's, you know what it is? And again, nothing against conservatives. It's the freshly divorced Gen X dads.
Yes.
Those are the ones who are real whenever we make like a cuck joke.
Oh my God, I hate it.
Them and our Middle Eastern audience hate it. I swear to God, those are we get the not funny, that and therapy jokes. The therapy jokes and the cuck jokes.
They do not like.
It's the usual suspects in the comments being like, this isn't fucking funny. My friend has depression. It's like, okay. We're not picking on him.
Yeah. I want you to go to therapy so bad. But yeah, no, so it's like Gen X men are on Shorts and they are so angry there. I've never gotten a positive comment every time we upload. They're like, oh, women, like those type. No. And it's like, guys, do we need to put like a sarcastic like flair on there? Like this is clearly us being like kidding. Yeah. And then it's like TikTok, man, cyberbullying is back on TikTok in the form of like, I'm just being honest or like what it's just full of unsolicited advice and everyone being like, super like sassy with it.
It's packaged as advice. It's not really advice. It's really a
lot of like, hey bestie, like blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of like backhanded shit. And the people thinking that they're better than everyone else. That's where Gen Z lives. So Gen Z bullies TikTok. I'd say the like older Gen X boomer people are now like the Instagram haters. Gen X men Shorts, and then you know what? I think millennials, I'll say it, have the least bullying problem because millennials were the generation of let's end bullying stuff. I think that they are actually handling it the best.
I will say though, there's two sides of every coin of the like, I find that the, hey, let's end bullying people, while great in theory, end up becoming bullies too. You know what I mean? Like the far end of the extremes of either spectrum are the problem. You know what's the thing that annoys me more than anything of these comments? When people comment, this isn't it.
Yeah.
Something where
that is
everybody will just say that.
That's what I mean by the like kind of snarky,
sweetie. It's
like
this weird but you're not even being original.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You're just copy pasting. I don't know if we talked about this or was it one of the episodes we did before we started posting these, but like I hate mobs so much.
Yeah.
I hate people ganging up on somebody, especially on the internet, where it's like, why this person can't post or do or anything without a million people just all over them. And they're all saying the same, this ain't it, sweetie, or like, what about this, sweetie? Drives me absolute bananas.
Welcome back to the Public Pool Podcast. I'm Michaela Pascal, and here's my my gym partner,
Yeah.
Jack O'Shea.
We are gym partners now.
We are gym partners now, actually.
You've been crushing it.
That. Thank you. I've been pumping some iron.
I know. You've been killing it.
Thank you.
I'm proud as hell.
Thanks. But I was just going to say, do you want to do some bullying of millennials, though? I do have, there is a current little scandal.
Should I act as defense counsel or do you want me to also join in and pick on
people? It does. So here's where I'm always like, because I always hesitate to talk about parenting because we are not yet parents. But so this has to do with parenting.
Okay, give it to me.
So those TikTokers, Matt and Abby, which I have told you about before, they are this couple and they do have a podcast. They're the ones who, oh my God, which one?
They're the ones where
the husband was upset that he didn't get separate Father's Day and birthday
bananas
things. It happened to fall on the same day. Yeah. He had to grill on his birthday.
Yeah.
She was 8 months pregnant. God forbid she didn't throw him a surprise party, basically.
She didn't throw him a birthday party?
Yeah.
This, what is he, 40?
No, they're 30s. They're millennials.
So this 35-year-old man didn't have his own birthday party?
Yeah. That's what,
goodness.
So those TikTokers.
Divorce.
If you don't know Matt and Abby and you're on TikTok, I bet you do. I bet you've seen them. It's always just like, oh my God, he's so mean to her. And like, they're always just like, we tried so hard to be attracted to each other. Like they're those type of people. But so new update with them, they went on a cruise with their 2 kids.
Love it.
I think I'm going to get the ages wrong, but I think they're both, I'd say under 4. I think it's like 1 and 3. Both of these kids are under 4. That I know.
They're toddlers.
They're toddlers.
They can't read.
So they went on a cruise.
Okay.
They kept doing the like little daycare thing, like the club thing that they had. And then the 2 of them were like, well, we want to do dinner. Kids apparently were having a fit. They did not want to go to this daycare thing. So what they decided to do for dinner, instead of bringing their kids to dinner or canceling their dinner plans, was that they just left them in the room with the baby monitor.
That's bananas to me. That's absolutely bananas. On a cruise ship?
But don't worry, honey. They had the baby monitor, and then they FaceTime the baby monitor because it lags sometimes. Because excellent cruise ship Wi-Fi.
Oh, it's perfect.
And then,
actually, I would be.
It's not.
I would assume that cruise ship Wi-Fi is actually pretty damn good.
I don't think it is.
Really?
That's why we didn't hear much from the 9-month cruise.
Oh, that makes sense. Go on now. Okay.
But so they left them unattended in this room, basically FaceTiming these baby monitors or whatever. And they posted stories saying that they were doing this on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts. But so it's like,
basically like, hey, by the way, we left our safe of jewels.
Yes.
Unattended.
And also just publicizing that you're doing that's insane. And so they did this. They get a bunch of backlash, obviously. They delete it. Several days later, it took a couple of days to come up with a story. Yeah. Right. And they basically now they're claiming that like they were tag teaming, going back and forth. Yeah. Like to the room. And it's like, oh, so one of you guys was at dinner and then one of you guys was in the room. Yeah. Did one of you guys leave the dinner table to relieve the other person and come back? Also, did you leave the children alone? Or were you guys just at dinner and now you're lying?
Also, because I mean, I don't know, maybe the rules of restaurants are different on cruise ships. I actually don't. I've been on one when I was like 11.
I've never been on a cruise, but
I don't think it's very different. Actually, it's kind of a cruise ship is kind of like a mall on top of the ocean. Like it's not really. You're not on a boat. It doesn't rock really. When it does, it's like, oh, it must be really bad. But usually, the most annoying thing ever is if you're with a group of 5 people, so table for 5, only 4 of you are there. They're like, we're not going to sit you. We're not going to get your orders, anything like that, until everyone's here. Mm-hmm. So if one of them's constantly going back and forth, when is this switch off?
That's what I'm saying.
As they're enjoying their solo dinner.
That's what I'm saying. Where are they tag teaming off?
Because are they basically spending half of the transition time with no one at the table and no one in the room? Yeah. Or are they like, you know what?
Or are they leaving? Yeah.
Either way, I don't really buy it. I remember you telling me the story of the dad being upset because he had
his birthday that like landed on Father's Day. Mm-hmm. And it was like, he wanted 2 separate things basically and he wanted 2 separate days to be celebrated, which it's like, yeah, of course, like you want to be celebrated. But he was complaining about the fact that he didn't get 2 separate days while his wife is like 8 months pregnant and he had to barbecue on his birthday. Like he had to grill on his birthday.
First of all,
which his family was there. Like they were with people, like they made it like a Father's Day birthday thing. And he was like, I didn't get two things. So they canceled the following. That's what it was. They canceled Father's Day and they were like, we will celebrate Father's Day on our own. On a random day.
Celebrate privately. And we'll celebrate his birthday. I've never related to a man less. Yeah. Because as you know, I don't like this saying like, oh, I hate my birthday. But I do wish like I didn't have like a birthday. Like it's very uncomfortable for me. Uh-huh. I don't like being celebrated even when I've done something. I'm not special.
Were you like... Obviously, I was excited for our wedding. Like, woohoo, wedding. I also was simultaneously so embarrassed to be having a wedding.
I actually wasn't. And I was like, you shouldn't be.
I was a little embarrassed. I think because I was the bride or something like that. I felt so like,
everyone's looking at you.
Everyone look at me. I'm the bride. Like I felt so like, and I loved her. We had a great wedding and it was so fun, but it was like the whole time like planning, I was like getting embarrassed about throwing a party for myself.
Here's the difference though. We had a really fun wedding. Almost every wedding we've ever been to is really, really fun.
Yeah.
People going to it, while it is about you, while it was about us.
Yeah.
People are actually going being like, this will be really fun.
Yeah.
I very rarely go to someone's birthday party, especially as an adult, go to somebody's birthday party being like, this is going to be really fun. It's more like, oh, we have Cody's turning what again? Okay. All right. It's the thing that you got to get through. It's like going to like church on Sunday. Like it's like, okay.
Okay.
It's like 2 hours. Can we leave after the sermon? Okay. But so that one alone, the fact that I will never be upset I tell you every year, just don't worry about my birthday.
I know last year you got away with it because you were sick on your birthday.
Yeah, it was great.
You were like really sick on your birthday.
Yeah. And also for Father's Day, Father's Day is so silly to me. And it's so silly to my dad too. But like I can tell you right now what my dad loves about Father's Day is that all of his kids call. And we talk to him or we're with him. He's not expecting gifts. And when we do get him gifts, like, okay, another thing to put in my storage of gifts that I won't use because men don't use things.
Here's my new sports / beer /
beard
grill
oil
/
It's wood stained. And then the thing that I really don't relate to with this schmuck, Matt, if that's his real name, he's upset that he's got a grill. I want to be the person running the grill.
Yeah.
I would prefer. Grilling's
you always are.
Yeah, grilling's one of the fun. It's fun to do it. It's not like, can't believe I have to do this chore. It's like, no, I love being like, yeah, that one's done. Like that's really, I love turning it on. Turning it on is fun. Turning it on is an adventure. Sometimes it explodes. What's interesting is, so we've seen a lot of these sort of like TikTok couples or just social media couples. It's like a new trend of types of creators, couple creators. And obviously this has been around for a while, but ever since the pandemic, it, 100x'd the amount of them. We're one of the rare instances where you and I both were content creators before we became a couple. We already were, as they say on the streets, about that life.
Yeah.
This was already our life. I was already making sketch comedy videos. You were already doing 8 million things on social media. And then we started dating. And so we started incorporating each other into our each other's content.
And that helped so much just because it was like, you get it, I get it. Like,
oh, it was so great.
Let's help each other out. Like it was
really hard dating before when I dated normies because, sorry, that's what you people are. Weirdos. When I dated normies, because it was like
they don't get it.
They don't get where I'm like, actually, I got to edit this video. I know it's 2 a.m. on a Saturday, but because if I don't post it tomorrow, if I post it afternoon, this is an old social media speak where people weren't always online, but where it was like,
you got to hit the hot times. You have to post at certain times, and there was
a time when most people wouldn't look at Instagram after 4 p.m. And so it's like, you got to get it on before then. But anyway, a lot of these TikTok couples, this one is just another one. I know of multiple TikTok couples who have gotten divorced.
Yes.
And what you can always tell, okay, it had a huge deal to do with it.
Yes.
Because they were
like the TikTok account is like in the divorce. So it's like, who gets it?
Yeah. And the person who gets it is clearly the person who came up with it, started recording it, called it Matt and Abby. And now that they're divorced, I feel like usually it's because one of them's like, I'm sick of, I didn't sign up for this. And the other person's like, I kind of love this.
Yeah. And it's hard on both ends, I feel like, for stuff like when they start it together, because there is someone who's like, this is awesome. This is great. And like,
what's private, what's not?
Yeah. Like what's private, what's not. It's like, if you blow up together, it's very weird to be like, what are we putting online? And then there's always one person who's more into it, more excited about it than the other. Usually.
And there's also one who's always more popular than the other.
Yeah. And I feel like for the person who's like, I'm a little bit more private, it's really tough to all of a sudden be like, I feel like my spouse has a camera in my face all the time.
Yeah.
Like it totally is hard.
Especially with what they do. Like everything we do is almost all of it is scripted.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Very.
What other couples do is a lot of like, hey, I'm surprising my husband on his birthday / Father's Day. And that's just very different. Or like, oh, I'm going to do this prank. Have we ever done you've never pranked me.
No. And it's, we live very peacefully because I don't think like, oh, you're about to pull out a camera in my face and start doing something. And was it prank first prank? They ended up getting a divorce, right?
I don't know that.
They were like,
that sounds familiar, but I don't know them.
They were like more old school, but they basically were a couple that pranked each other. Like when prank channels were like the thing. Yeah. And it was like they were pulling these big.
When they were good pranks too, right?
Yeah. Like they were good. They were well done. And clearly they were both in, which was great. But they ended up breaking up. And I'm sure it was because they're like, I'm living in constant paranoia. Yeah. I can't really trust my partner. Yeah. Like it's weird.
Well, the Jackass guys, I know that they always had a rule, which was the second you're on set, you're fair game. Mm-hmm. But once we're off set, you can't do anything. You can't. Yeah. You can't do the Bam Margera splash water in the face and punch a guy, even if you brought a camera. Mm-hmm. But you show up on set, the second you're on, you might get pranked or whatever. Uh-huh. How do you draw that line? Yeah. When you're like, it's me and my wife. Yeah. And it has to be like a surprise. Like that just, yeah. What are we doing?
You were like, oh yeah, it's hard to explain to someone like, oh, sorry, I have to edit this video or I have to do this. And it's like, not everyone understands that because it's obviously not like a real job, like sort of thing. It's not as like, I don't know. So that's hard. But like, I remember almost when I was like dating other people, I almost had like the opposite feelings for a while, but I had both experiences where it was like, I dated people where it was like, they weren't in this world and they had a really hard time with it. Obviously that's what ended the relationships. But at the same time, I've like dated also other people in the YouTube space and stuff like that. And like, I remember feeling like this is so fake and like I didn't feel, and I remember there was a certain point where I was like, I don't want to date any creatives ever again. And so it was kind of weird to me when I fell into a rhythm with you where
because they were like vlog creatives, right?
Yeah. Some of them were like that. And like, yeah. Like
it's just a different,
it was just different. Everything felt kind of like artificial and like, there was like a weird thing where, because I've never dated anyone publicly besides you. I wanted my dating life like offline, and I think a lot of people who were interested in me then became uninterested in me when they were aware that I didn't want to put relationships on camera.
Yeah, and I never dated anybody publicly before you because before you I wasn't nobody recognized me.
What, you didn't have to make a coming out video?
No, I never
date
did.
Someone?
Everyone else I dated, it was actually incredibly public. There was no secrets behind it.
I remember being like, I'm so sorry. I think we have to make like a coming out video.
Yeah, and I was like,
for our heterosexual relationship.
And I remember saying to you, just so you know, I don't care. Like there's not one. Very very little of me is private. Yeah, that's almost if anything. It's like you are rightfully so way more private of a person than I am for many reasons. Number one being, you're a woman, and when I say my opinion, people online will be like, I mean, I disagree, but I get where he's coming from. You can say the exact same opinion, and they're like, this fucking cunt. Yeah. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. I bet she can't even read. Yeah. Like, it's just a totally different level. A totally different level. You'll have to probably bleep that word. Of how people respond, react, bully. Also, the other fact of like, I do not read comments. When we post a sketch or something, when I'm checking up on it and I see the comments, if you comment on it with the first 10 minutes, I might reply. Otherwise, I never see another comment again the rest of the time. You do. Yeah. So it's just, you're much more private than I am.
Yeah. And I've lived and I've learned a lot of stuff where I took my siblings offline at a certain point, where I was like, people are just weird. Like, I took my parents offline. Like, I don't post about my family really.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure my family, all my siblings, all four of my siblings, I'm sure would be like, hell yeah, talk about me. Yeah. You know?
My siblings were so much younger and it was like they were at a cute age when I used to like make videos with them. And I was like, this is great. And then at a certain point I was like, I'm not going to do this because people are weird. And now that they're kind of older again, I'm like, I'll talk about them. I will acknowledge the fact that I have siblings and I will, tell stories here and there about them. But it's like, I'm still not going to like publicize them because I just don't trust people. I've just lost trust with people. It's weird.
And again, you can cut this part out. It's like you still have one sibling who's under 18.
Yeah.
It's like it's totally different ballgame when they're over 18 than when they're under. It's different. But yeah, no, I just do find it interesting the way it seems to be a real pattern of, oh my God, this couple blew up and everyone's obsessed with them. I don't know. It's just an interesting dynamic. In other news, so the Hezbollah pagers thing. How about that?
That's not good. It's not.
You don't think it's good? I think it's the coolest thing that's ever happened ever. It's a spy movie.
But didn't other people get hurt?
No.
Oh, I thought.
No, well, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't want to get hurt.
Okay, let me tell a quick story this weekend. So Michaela's mom stayed with us this weekend. Here's what I'm dealing with between Michaela and her mom. They're pretty damn close to the same person. They're Gilmore Girls in so many ways. You guys are you have very, very, very similar people. We actually wrote a sketch and we haven't done it yet. And I'll give away kind of the premise of the sketch, which is I came downstairs one of the times she stayed with us, and you told me, hey, my mom found a big scary spider. It's underneath our cupboard. I was like, okay, I'm going to get the spider. You and your mom were like, wait, no. Don't hurt it.
So I wanted you to take it outside.
So you want me to, basically what you wanted me to do was grab his little hand and say, come on, buddy, walk with me.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Now go outside.
Or if you are going to kill it, I want it to be lights out now.
Lights out, perfect. Why don't you fucking do it? If you want it to be real gentle. I'm scared of spiders too. I'm probably more scared of spiders than you. I'm going to do what I have to do so you guys aren't worried about being bit by a spider and scared of the spider. And if that means, anyway, so we're talking this week. We're talking about something similar. I forget how we got in the conversation, but I posed this hypothetical to you guys. The three of us are hiking. Okay, we're hiking and a grizzly bear shows up. All right. And the grizzly bear is it's basically approaching us. It's like, okay, it's going to attack. And the grizzly bear actually bites me. And so in response, I do something, maybe I have a gun or a knife or something like that. I kill the grizzly bear. What did your mom do? No. The second I said I killed the grizzly bear, who, by the way, was attacking you guys and I stepped in the middle, your mom goes, no. There's such a thing as being too sensitive.
Yes.
And it's like, it's really good to care about other people, and you should absolutely care when innocent people get hurt and whatnot. I do think we have to take the news from Hezbollah with a grain of salt.
So this is...
They're going to say it was Hiroshima.
Here's how the news went.
Yeah.
Via me receiving it. Bunch of pages blowing up. People got hurt. Can't look at that. I kind of got some gist and I was like, can't look at that. People are getting hurt. I don't want to see any of that.
So have you seen any videos of when the pagers blew up?
Yes. And I said, I don't want to look at that because I just kind of blocked it out of my mind. So that's why I was like, I didn't realize it was only bad guys.
In the video, the few videos that you did see of an actual pager blowing up, did you see anybody but the guy who was the Hezbollah terrorist who was currently had the pager on, and he had the pager on so that his commanding terrorist officer could tell him when to go commit an act of terror. That's why he had the pager. It was for instructions for terrorism.
Okay, I wasn't fully aware of that. I just thought
that's why they had them.
I thought it was just kind of like an attack, or like they were like general attack. We're just gonna blow up people's pagers.
No,
okay.
That's different.
See, that's the piece of information I was missing.
I think that's a piece of information a lot of people on TikTok specifically are missing, and also just the logic of, hey, you have a pager in your pocket. Say it explodes.
Pager is red flag number one.
Well, you don't want to have the pagers because they had to get rid of cell phones. Because Israel was tracking their cell phones to know their whereabouts. So like, we got them. We'll go to pagers. And turns out the Israel intelligence agency was like, let's create a pager company and sell them pagers with bombs in them. It's going to blow off your hand if you're holding it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to do much else. I think only like a dozen of the thousands of them even died. I think a lot of them basically they got their dicks blown off.
Yeah.
They sold Hezbollah bought en masse pagers.
Yeah. Because
they were like, we can't use phones anymore. And then they distributed the pagers to their rank and file.
Yeah.
They did not distribute them to the citizens.
2 steps ahead, which last week we didn't talk about.
What?
What's his name? Nikocado Avocado or whatever, that guy?
Fat guy.
The mukbang guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Because he lost a bunch of weight, right?
Yeah, and he basically like pre-recorded 2 years worth of videos,
which is bananas.
Which is bananas.
Because he did it. He lost all the weight to be healthy, right?
I think so. And just, but I also think maybe his videos in general were like some sort of social experiment. Because I've never watched his content due to the fact it freaks me out a little bit.
I could never watch a mukbang video. I never will my entire life. That's the weirdest thing in the world to me.
It's very weird. He like does weird stuff. And so like, I think I just basically like blocked him out of my view when he like started getting popular. So I never really like seen a full video of his post him like coming out. And then when like this happened, I then watched a more recent video and I was like, oh yeah, like I forgot, like he's like weird. He's doing like a
gross.
weird, it's like not just him eating. It's like he's acting super weird the whole time. And like, I don't know how to explain it correctly. It's just off-putting. And so I'm like, was the whole thing a social experiment?
No, I think he, like many creators, realized if I do this, I get more views, I get more engagement.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna do that and do that to the extreme, and that's how I'll make money.
So now what is he doing? Do you think he's gonna keep doing?
Start it all again, baby. Now he's not as unhealthy or something. I mean, he did it from like he took Ozempic or something. I assume,
He's
right?
got it. Yeah.
It was a surprise because he started losing weight. He pre-recorded so much stuff in advance that he basically nobody ever was like, "Hey, where'd he go?
Yeah.
Oh, look, he lost a ton of weight." It was like, no. What are you talking about? I just watched a new video from him last week where he was still fat as fuck. Because he was. Let's be real. This isn't body shaming. He was like 400 pounds.
He was like unhealthy. And like there was like a point where people were like, did he die? Like,
he looked like he was close.
Yeah. He was like on like oxygen at one point or something. Of course he was. Like
for him, so he's trying to lose weight to be healthy. So in order for his plan to work, he had to double
like
his mukbangs for a stint of time. That alone is like
insane.
Kind of crazy where it's like, hey, in order to get healthy, I gotta get real unhealthy for a while.
Yeah.
Like even more unhealthy for a while. I feel like if you're on Ozempic, isn't the whole thing that it really suppresses your appetite?
Yeah.
So I don't think he can do mukbangs anymore.
No, he's gonna pivot.
What bullshit he's gonna go into now? ASMR? That feels like
like maybe ASMR.
They feel like cousins.
Yeah.
ASMR mukbangs.
Maybe he should just get into like the beauty community.
That's another cousin.
Do something weird. There's always something weird going on in the beauty world. Remember when there was like that year where they were like Shane Dawson's in the beauty community? That was a weird one.
Of course I don't remember that. But go on.
Just because it was like he like made when he was like in his making documentaries phase.
How did the greasiest man alive?
He was making those documentaries. Remember where it was like so he made
the clickbait fake documentaries?
Yeah. So he made a Jeffree Star one where it was like multi-parts or whatever. And that was like his biggest docuseries that he made was this Jeffree Star one. And so he ended up being like, I'm going to make a palette with Jeffree Star during this.
What's a palette again?
Like an eyeshadow palette. Like when you open up the eyeshadows and you got all the different little colors.
They have I've seen them before where it's like, hey, here's a bunch of different colors. Do you just use one at a time or is it the idea that you mix them all together?
Well, you can kind of do either, like to make your own shade. It's a powder. So
yes.
I use one at a time, but I use several different colors to complete the whole eye look.
To blend.
Yeah, you blend them together.
So Shane made his own palette.
So Shane did make his own palette.
What was on it? Green?
It was the conspiracy palette.
Ooh, or blue?
So there were some blues and greens, etc.
Nice. You didn't have like a red though, right? That'd be crazy if you had red.
I think the palette was red.
I want to make a palette.
You should.
Just Roy G. Biv, baby.
But so he did that, and then he all of a sudden was like, oh wow, we're like really selling these eyeshadow palettes. And he just kind of like started getting into the beauty world. It was weird. It was and it was really bad was the thing is he wasn't good.
I think he was grasping for anything at the time.
But he was making so much money at the time. It was crazy.
Well, that's the thing. If you're Nikocado Avocado, right? That's his name?
Something like that, yeah.
Or Shane Dawson, if you're one of these people where, who were we talking about? You're like, what does Bryce Hall do? And I was like, I'll tell you what, you're like, because he doesn't have like fans in any sort of demo. And I was like, no, but what he does is he's famous enough that when he does something, it gets news.
Yeah.
That's his job. He can say something and TMZ or even the New York Times might write about it. It's
just so it's people like Bryce Hall. And it's like, I'm not even like trying to shade Bryce Hall or whatever. It's like, I'm just curious who is his demo.
I literally can't pick him out of the lineup.
Who is following him? Is it men? Is it women? Is it kids? Is it adults?
I think it's journalists.
Like,
I think it is. I think it's people being like, does this guy do another crazy thing? Let's write about it. It'll get clicks because it's a name some people recognize, and therefore, I mean, if Bryce Jacobson, who's a 25-year-old contractor in Idaho, does something, he could do exactly what Bryce Hall does. It's not going to get written about. There's something to be a Shane Dawson or one of these sort of like provocateurs. Who's the girl that she was on the show with the guy?
Yeah. H3.
Yes.
Ethan Klein.
What's the girl?
Trish Paytas?
Trish Paytas. Her job is to be a provocateur.
Yeah.
Her fans, nobody's a fan of her. They're fans of her being a provocateur. Like, she has fans, but they like that she's sort of like a perpetual troll, a perpetual narcissist. Look at me, I'm doing something crazy. And she does other things too. She has I know she is like, can talk really fast, and she's been on all these, she's been an extra in all these shows. And it's like, that's great. Our fans like the sketch comedies that we put out. That's what they follow. Charli D'Amelio's fans, she dances, right? They like her dance moves. Okay. I'm telling you guys how the internet works. There are singer people. There's singers on the internet, right? The people who follow the singers like their songs. There's also this, growing segment.
First of all, Trisha Paytas also sings.
That's what I'm saying. But she doesn't do one thing. If you were going to say she does one thing, if you're watching the YouTube video, I'm literally crying right now laughing. I realized how insane I sounded, where I'm like, I don't know anything about the internet, I guess. But if you asked Trisha Paytas fans, why are you a fan of her? They kind of can't answer.
Yeah.
She's
entertaining.
Yeah. That's what she does.
That's what she does.
And I think Bryce Hall, while different, I think he belongs in that same category.
Yeah. He's entertaining.
He's a guy that enough people follow that when he does it, it gets enough eyes that it can be news.
Like, who's like someone like Austin McBroom is another one where I'm like, who's following him?
Wait, is he?
He's the Ace Family guy.
So he started off as a Family Channel person.
Yeah.
And then it turned out he's like a monster, right? Or just a douche?
Yeah, I think all the above.
All the above.
He isn't like canceled for anything particular.
It's canceled by 1,000 cuts.
It's just it's like they've had a lot of scandals where it's like, because they had children audience at the beginning, and it was like they were selling a lot of things to kids. Like, it just was like one of those things. But it's like, he was like a serial cheater on his super hot wife, and like, I don't know, just all this stuff. But now they're divorced, and like, he kind of had like a come up again. And I was like, who? Did
he do something provocative? Because that's how you do it.
He moved in an RV and lived outside his ex-wife's house.
You know what that sounds like? Provocative news.
Yeah.
That's his job. And you can ding it all you want. I don't think it's a good way to live.
No, but it works.
But it pays the fucking bills. And when you get to a certain point where it's like, what is Austin McBroom gonna work for a rental car company now? No.
Yeah.
One, he can't. He's not used to that lifestyle. And two, if we went to Hertz and you were like, I think that's Austin McBroom, I would say, who? And then you explain it to me, and they'd be like, oh, that fucking guy? That, you just can't have that.
It's like when Armie Hammer was selling like timeshares in the Cayman Islands, and everyone was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do that, unfortunately.
You know what the best example of that though is for if you are a college football star for your college football team and you don't make it to the NFL, the joke is they all work for car dealerships.
Really?
Yeah. There are people who drive trucks and there are people who watch college football. And by the way, it's the same group of people.
You're right.
And so if you're like, holy shit, that's Johnny Manziel. I'm going to buy a truck. I'll pay more because Johnny Manziel fucking sold me this truck. That this just reminded me of that we've talked about before. But the obviously we're not like incredibly famous. I like to think that we are recognized. I say we are recognizable by this. Everybody, or a lot of people when we're in public, look at me the same look I get from somebody who I might have gone to high school with. They're like, I fucking know that guy.
Yeah, where do I know you from?
Did we everybody kind of looks at me like, did we go to college together? Like, how would I know you from?
Yeah, nobody's like, that's Jack O'Shea. It's like that. No, it's just like, I know you.
Yeah, so people know me, and then every now and then they're like, are you the guy from this thing? Yes. The biggest downside for me so far with that is just and I've said it to you many times, I can't pee my pants. I have such a minute amount of fame, but enough that if somebody takes a video and be like, this fucking idiot peed his pants on the plane, which by the way, I haven't done ever. I don't think I've ever peed my pants, but if I...
Girl, I pee my pants all the time.
Yeah, you do. It's what's really cool. So one of their friends is going to say, I know that guy. It's that guy from this.
Uh-huh.
And then that just lives on the internet.
Yeah.
You can't be an anonymous pee your pants person anymore. And that's a real downside. Fame isn't what everybody...
It's not what it's cracked up to be.
Not what it's cracked up to be, guys.
You can't just pee your pants in public anymore.
You can't pee your pants. You can't. You can't. You really can't. Training topic. So the other day, we were end of the night, watching TV, and we had ordered pizza earlier. And all of a sudden, you saw it, I didn't. The pizza box opened.
Yes.
And it just closed.
How could I not have written this down to talk about?
Yeah. I wrote it down the second it happened. And you said, baby, the pizza box just opened and closed.
It literally was on the counter, you guys. It wasn't fully closed, like where it was like in the slots or whatever. It was like the lid was down.
Yes.
And it was like kind of in, but like obviously not perfectly in. But it was like in. It was closed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I just see the top do the like full open, full close.
Yes. And so immediately I knew where your head immediately jumped to, which is
ghost.
That a ghost is involved. I just want to talk about this just because it's like, I think this is actually a relatable thing. I love you. And I also, as I said before, every time you see something strange or you feel something strange, you're like, oh my God, the TV turned off when I didn't press the button or something like that. I fully 100% believe that actually happened and that's what you saw. I'm never doubting any of that. I'm never doubting that you're making this stuff up. What I love about you is, for me, the order of, okay, let's figure out what happened. It literally ends with ghost. The last possible option is that something paranormal. I would say for you to be conservative, it's your second option.
Yeah.
I'd say you'd be like, were magnets or the wind involved? No. Okay, so ghost. Because the answer was, I was kind of trying to come up with reasons. I was going through my checklist.
You really did try. And normally you can give me an explanation and I'll be like, maybe.
Well, because
this time you tried to convince me that our very slow ceiling fan.
Maybe in the past too, when it's like, what are you talking about? The battery is low.
Yeah.
The fact that you're even like, maybe, I actually still think ghost. I'm like, no, this is silly.
You are able to talk me out of most things.
Yes.
But this was one where the reason you gave me, you were trying to give me some like wind vortex shit that I was like, listen, I get it. You're smarter than me, but
I'm not smarter than you.
That is not a situation in which the wind would perfectly get over to this faraway pizza box and create enough air to like blow the top up and down.
First of all, I'm not smarter than you. I genuinely am not. I will say I'm more logical than you and like logical, rational. I don't think that's up for debate. I think that you are probably smarter than me. I think that I am more logistical.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I like to be as open to ghosts as quickly as possible. And because if it is a paranormal thing, I want to be locked in for the moment it's happening. Like I want to be like when I thought that
you want to be ready with the camera out.
When the candle was talking to me, I wanted to be able to receive the message that the candle was sending me.
Tell the story real quick, babe.
Okay.
Babe, tell that story.
So I was sitting, I lit a candle, and the candle, I swear, was speaking to me. It was like making noise. My candle was making noise, and I was like, that's weird.
Yes.
And so I immediately was like, there is a message being transmitted via this candle.
And you opened up your mind immediately and said, what would you tell me?
Because I need to know, what is this message they're trying to get to me?
Yeah.
I don't want to waste time being like, what could it be? Because if someone's saying,
that would be a waste of time.
I'm on the other end of the flame. I need to be able to get this message ASAP and not be like, can you repeat yourself? But they can't, you know?
Yeah.
So I need to lock in for this message.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I'm like, babe, the candle is talking to me.
And I said it is.
And I recorded it because I was like, the candle is talking to me. Like I watched back the footage. You could hear it. I was like,
you weren't crazy.
I'm not crazy. And then
what did I do?
And then you looked at the candle.
And then I looked at the candle.
And then you realized that the label said that it's a crackling wick.
It has a crackling wick. It is a wick that makes noise. Why that product exists at all, it makes no sense. Who's like, hey, you know what the problem with my candle is? It's not noisy enough. That's another conversation. The point is, you heard it. Your first thought was ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost trying to communicate. Okay. Husband, there's a ghost. Before you looked at the candle, before you approached the candle and took a glance, that's my thought.
But see, I had time for the logic and the explanation later. Because what if it was a paranormal incident and I missed the message?
Honestly, this is a really good argument.
I missed the message. Why? I can be logical later. I'm going to be open-minded now.
Yeah. And you're also married to me, which means don't worry, the logic will be
because what if the candle was saying I'm a demon and I'm about to blow this house up and I'm like, message received, everyone let's get out, you know?
Honestly, the second you say to me, the candle was talking to me, it's a demon and it's going to try to kill us, I'm 51-50 you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sweetie, that's always the story where it's like, I don't want to bring up any of the crimes or anything like that, but it's like, it's always kind of the devil. She thought the devil was talking to her.
I know.
And so, just so you have that heads up.
No, I'm aware.
I'm not going to entertain that type of stuff.
But why not just get out of the house just in case? JIC, you know? True.
Well, why don't you get out of the house and I'll take a look at the candle? That's the answer. I'll always do that. I will always look at the candle for you. The point is...
I was willing to accept that it was a crackling wick after we figured it out.
And the thing is, I'm willing to accept that it's a ghost. But we have to... That's the last possible... It's the last possible option.
And with the pizza box one, there was really no explanation. It lifted.
We live in a brand new house. First people to live in this house. Our last apartment was a brand new apartment. First people to live in the apartment. I was under the impression that ghosts... Isn't usually people like, oh, I have a ghost. Why? This person died here.
Yeah.
Clearly no one had died there.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is we live on grounds.
But we live in the desert. The whole concept of Native Americans live in the desert is a complete thing for movies.
Native Americans. In fact, we live in Vegas.
Right, a lot of mobsters.
So we could have been a mobster victim / a mobster, you know?
Yeah, we probably live above some holes.
Which is why he wanted the pizza. He needed a slice.
He was Italian.
He's an Italian ghost. I'm okay with having an Italian ghost.
I would love to have a mobster ghost.
Oh my God, I would love to have an old Italian man ghost in
Oh
our
my
house.
God, what if we have Tony Sirico, the guy from The Sopranos, the actor who just passed away, God rest his soul. Oh my God.
I would love it. I'm totally okay with an Italian man living in our house, okay?
Yeah, honestly, if Tony Sirico, if you're a ghost in our house, I would love nothing more than just show yourself, dude. We're not going to kick you out. Just tell me, your wife looks a lot like one of my Gumars. You're like, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I believe that there are people watching over us. I don't necessarily believe that they're walking amongst us. Because why on earth would you do that? Why would you watch over?
Because maybe they have a message, you know?
That's cheating though. I don't like, that's kind of breaking the rules of life though.
Listen, I'm pro ghost, okay?
You're pro ghost.
I'm pro ghost.
And I'm not anti ghost. I'm just not ghost first. I'm just not ghost first or second. I'm ghost last. Are you ready for this week's edition of Sports Gossip?
Yeah, lay it on me.
But just for the people who didn't listen to it, here's the deal. I love sports. You do not love sports.
No.
I've learned that the only way for me to ever really be able to discuss sports with you, or sports news, anything like that, is to deliver it in the form of gossip.
I did see some football news. Not news, but
Girl, do tell.
Just like a thing I saw. I did see that the Cowboys called the play, and they called it Kim K. I did see that.
I did not see that.
I did. They're playing. They're like Kim K.
That's funny. People didn't really discuss that.
I saw it. So
yeah.
Go Cowboys.
Okay. So without further ado, here's this week's version of NFL Gossip.
Okay. Give it to me.
Okay. So this week, so far in the first 2 seasons of the NFL, kickers have been crushing it.
Okay, kickers.
They're just going off, girl. You know what I mean? So here's why though. So growing up until like, I don't know, 5 years ago, whole precedent ago, whatever. Kim was still with Kanye. The going theory was, or the general strategy was, okay, you're going to have to get to the opponent's 35-yard line before you can even think about kicking a field goal. Because otherwise it's just not worth it.
It's literally
just not worth it. Like,
why waste your time?
Like, punt. Punt.
Break up with him.
Just punt.
God.
Punt him away.
Yeah.
Like Kim did to Kanye. I need better references. But now kickers are like, much better. Like they can kick the ball much further. And also stadiums are inside, so wind isn't much of a factor. So sometimes they only have to even go to like the middle of the field, like 50 yards out.
Are ghosts ever a factor?
Ghosts are never a fucking factor. They're never a fucking factor. But here's the real kicker. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Jesus Christ. They changed the kickoff rule. Okay?
Okay.
Because before, and I mean, you've seen it, like a game starts and what the team does, the team on defense, they'll kick the ball off to the offense. And then sometimes it's really exciting. They'll kick it and then the offense will catch the ball and then they'll try to run. And it's just really dangerous because you have a bunch of like 300-pound guys running full speed at each other for 40 yards and then they hit each other. It's like, oops, concussion. Can't have that anymore. Too many injuries. It's just not safe. So they changed the kickoff rules. So now when a team kicks off, they have to hit it into what they call the landing zone. Okay? Kind of fun, kind of strange. People are mixed about it. It's like, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So here's the real kicker of that. Before, when they would kick off the ball, if it would go out of bounds, like if it would go past the touchdown, the offense would get the ball on their own 20-yard line. And so if you think about it, like, okay, so they have to get to the opponent's 35-yard line and they're starting off on the 25-yard or starting off on the 20-yard line, that means they have to gain 45 yards in order to be able to kick a field goal.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a good deal.
Okay.
Like most teams can't do, you're not going to do that most possessions. You're just not.
You're just not.
You can try, you're just not.
Okay.
Now, they moved the touchback line. So now if the ball goes out of bounds, if it's wrong, teams will either get it on the 30 or if they like the kick's really bad, they'll get on the 40-yard line. So instead of having to go 45 yards to kick a field goal, you have to go 20 or sometimes even 10 yards to just get to the halfway point so Brendan Aubrey can like kick a 3-pointer. It's nuts.
Interesting.
And so we're seeing way more field goals than we have in the past.
Interesting. I kind of like that the kickers are like getting their time to shine
They're
a little bit.
Stars.
They're stars.
Yeah. Like who's Brandon Aubrey? Who's Harrison Butker? Harrison Butker's a great family man. You know what? Justin Tucker, the like sexiest of all the kickers, like
He's
honestly,
the sexiest?
real cutie for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, okay.
For your Baltimore Ravens.
I was going to say my team.
Yeah. Some people call him the GOAT kicker of all time. He's actually having like a really slow start. It's actually really sad.
Oh.
Yeah. People be like, is he done? And they're like, how can kickers be done? It's not that, not doing that much.
I think they're doing the most.
But anyway, so we're seeing a lot of like, put it this way. I saw a stat. Week 1 of the NFL season, there were 23 kicks attempted that were more than 50 yards. 21 of them went in. If you go back even just like 5 years ago, I think there were like 23 attempted in the first half of the season and like 4 went in. Like they're just much better now.
Interesting.
So we're getting a lot more 3-pointers.
So do we think that steroids or ghosts are involved?
I'm going to say absolutely fucking not for ghosts. And I think professional athletes all use steroids. So,
Yeah.
But I don't think it really affects the kickers as much.
Okay.
I think it's more strategy, like.
Okay. Just good old fashioned strat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
T.
Anyway, so that's this week's NFL gossip.
I like it.
Again, there's not a ton of like.
We'll get more. But speaking of professional sports,
Yeah.
You know how like I was always like, oh, the reason I'm not into sports is because I'm like, what do you mean they're not hitting home runs every time?
Yeah, it's their job, you said, which I think is a brilliant point.
It's literally their job.
Yeah.
But I do understand the like they're going up against other professional athletes, and so it equals the field back out. Bowling.
We were talking about this because thank you for bringing this up because we were talking about it yesterday.
Yes. Why? So obviously, if you're playing tennis or whatever, you could be the best tennis player in the world. You're going against other great tennis players or baseball players or whatever. You're equaling the field. I get it. So that's what makes it so that you're not constantly just hitting home runs or whatever.
Yes.
Bowling is a solo sport. Mm-hmm. The obstacle does not even change.
It doesn't change
It's
once.
not like golf where things change and each hole is different or whatever. Bowling is the exact same thing every time. You could bring your own damn ball if you want, like a custom ball, custom t-shirt. There's nothing about bowling that isn't basically tailored to you, and the course never changes. Why are they not hitting strikes every single time?
From a statistics or just from a scientific standpoint, the way you would describe it is in bowling, zero variables change ever. The pins start in the same spot. You're bowling on the same surface. You're using the same ball. You're the same person. Everything's the exact same. Why can't you do? And also, in golf, you and I can go golfing, right? You've never golfed before. Mm-hmm. You'll hit the ball. You will never hit a hole in one until you practice a ton.
How dare you say that?
I'm willing to bet we can golf for the next 20 years every day. after 5 years, you'll get a hole in one. But that's a long time, a lot of strokes, a lot of different things. When we go bowling, you might get 5 strikes around.
Yeah.
And nobody's like, holy shit, we should sign her up for the pros.
Yeah.
No.
They're like, damn, you're good. But it's like,
anybody can hit a strike.
It's more shocking to me that like pro bowlers are not hitting a strike.
They're like, oh, you bowled a 300? You should be bowling a 300 every time.
Like people should be getting bored of bowling.
Yeah.
Because they should be like, I'm hitting the same thing every time. This makes no sense.
Yes.
Or like this is boring.
Basically, you just have to do the same thing 12 times, bowl a 300. How the heck? It should be like, it shouldn't be about who bowls the best. It should be about who doesn't suck that round.
Yes.
How few mistakes did you make?
Yeah.
Like the standard should be 300, and it's like, damn, he had a bad one. He didn't get a strike that one time.
Yeah. You said something about charts earlier, which honestly, you're always saying something about charts.
I love graphics, infographics.
I do have a note in my phone that I like to call Jack quotes. Just every now and then you will say something that is just so you being you, because Jack O'Shea is a character. Like, and
I'm weirder than all the people I play by far.
Yes,
by far.
And every now and then you just say a phrase that it's like it. But sometimes I'm like, is it even funny to people like outside of us? Like I don't know. So I'm just gonna read it. Every now and then I just have to write something down that you said.
Are you going in order of when I said them or reverse order of when I said them?
I'm not even gonna read all of them because there's so many.
Yeah. Okay.
But it started off with him just saying to me one day, this is the first one I wrote down of his, which is just, I was really let down by Magic Mike XXL.
I was.
Yeah.
I watched Magic Mike 1's really good. And Magic Mike XXL, I was expecting to be of similar quality, and it was just like fucking felt like a money grab.
So I'm just gonna read a few.
Okay, go on.
Because so today my most recent one I wrote down was, you said, well, okay, you made me look up a chart.
Well, we were talking about redheads, and I was like, well, I wonder what the redhead percent. Basically, here was my theory. Okay. You were saying how like the stereotype for Irish people is that they're all redheaded, but what most Irish people look like is basically a pale guy with dark hair and freckles.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. That's interesting. And I came up with a hypothesis. The hypothesis was, I bet you, while most Irish people don't have red hair, I bet you a higher percentage of redheads, the higher percentage of the population is redheaded in Ireland than anywhere else. And I pulled up a graph looking at Europe's percentage of redheads in the population chart, and I was correct.
Yeah.
I was correct. Over 10% in Ireland. Everywhere else close to 0.
Yeah.
This is why every now and then it's good to bust out an infographic, guys.
I've always been a little skeptical of the anteater concept.
I am. So here's why.
The animal.
The animal.
You're skeptical of the animal?
Think about it. Okay. What do anteaters eat?
Ants.
Apparently only ants?
Probably all like bugs. They're probably like a little...
Only bugs? Only small little bugs?
But they probably, are like whales, so like primarily eat krill. Like
okay, that's the best argument you have for that. My thought is, and I'm sure if you looked it up immediately, you'd be like, oh, well, yeah, no, this is how it works. There's just no way. I mean, think about how much work it would take. They're basically like vacuum animals.
That's why they're like little vacuums. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare my case for the anteaters today, but I'll make it.
Well, I'm not even arguing for it. I'm just saying I've always been skeptical of it because I've always been like, there's no way that large animal can come from just eating ants. It just doesn't make...
You know when you see a really big ant every now and then?
I
feel like where they live, it's like, yeah, they got the big ants.
But big ants, I think it... Okay, so I think the big ants, though, you have to think of it as like the moon. Where like, you know, when you go outside and you're like, wow, the moon is so big tonight. You take a picture and on your phone, it's the smallest thing in the fucking world. And you're like, oh, it's because relative to what I'm used to, it's larger in my head than it really is. I think that's the case with big ants. I think big ants, compared to the small ants, are actually pretty damn... I think they're closer together than the big ant to obviously like a cockroach or even just like what we would consider a medium-sized bug. I think that the big ant is actually pretty damn small. My whole point is I've just always been skeptical when people are like, oh, yeah, they're anteaters. They only eat ants. I'm like, I don't think so.
But there are also so many ants. That's such a big food source.
The supply is there. You're right.
They can go straight to the hill.
The supply is there, and maybe the anteaters are there to meet the demand.
I think they are. I think they're managing.
Maybe they do. I'm just saying I'm skeptical of it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying I have questions.
Jack O'Shea does not believe in anteaters.
I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying I don't. I don't believe it. Yeah, I don't believe him.
I can't even think about it. It upsets me so much. And it's Jack on chicken wing eating contests and what counts as eating one.
I really don't like that. I honestly, it upsets me so much I don't think about it every now and then. It happens every year. We get to July 4th and they're like, oh, it's the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Who can eat the most hot dogs? The variable of the hot dog doesn't change. They're always the same size hot dog, always same size bun, same rules, same time limit, everything. When they're up, they're like, oh, this is Pat, blah, blah, blah. What are his accolades? And it's like, oh, he has the record in eating. And it's the amount of bullshit records they have in this eating thing where it's like, he ate the most dumplings in 5 minutes. Okay. Besides hot dogs, the number 2 one that they're always bringing up is chicken wings.
Yeah.
What constitutes eating the chicken wing? How much meat has to be left in the thing?
I just would assume, well, you look at it and you're like, yeah, that was eaten.
But that's real subjective.
I will say though, it does make me nervous when we eat that. I just feel like the bones are going to come off. They're going to accidentally swallow.
That's a risk of the job though.
Yeah, it's a job hazard.
It would make more sense to me, and I know it'd be gross, if they had to eat them whole. It doesn't
yeah.
Or maybe it's like, yeah, well, we order Wingstop all the time. Sometimes the wings are bigger and sometimes they're smaller. Where is the control?
That is true. There are standard size of hot dogs.
Where's the control for so I honestly,
that you got me.
It does upset me to an extraordinary degree every time I see chicken wing eating contest things.
You said, the only thing I know about Adam Levine is that he suffers from acne and cheats on his wife.
Yeah, that's pretty much 1 and 2.
I think that's fair.
I think that's pretty much 1 and 2. I know that, and I also know that he sings in a high voice, and for some reason, people enjoy it.
I like it.
I don't.
I'm not I'm a big Maroon 5 fan.
You are. You're a huge Fiver.
You're a Maroon head.
You literally I could wake up and I say, "What's M5 up to today?" And you're like, "Oh, I'll tell you where they're touring at the moment." I don't like male singers who their whole thing is that they sing in a high voice.
Like Justin Timberlake? I love JT.
I don't like a lot of his music because of that.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, I'm sure I am. I don't like it. I mean, I've heard them all. She will be loved. He's doing an impression of someone who swallowed helium.
But that's just where his range is. He can find his key in the higher.
I don't believe it. I don't believe
He's making his voice higher, but that's just because that's where he sounds best.
Though it's a niche he found.
Oh, this is response to me. I said, sorry, I'm being so lazy right now. And Jack said, what are you talking about? You just posted a picture on Instagram.
That's your job. You did your job.
Nobody paid me to post that picture on Instagram.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the point. Who's your biggest cheerleader?
You.
Me. I'm always going to give you the silver side.
I know.
The silver lining of everything. I think you're amazing. I think you do too much of anything.
You think I do too much?
I think you do. That's why at the end of the night, I was like, you chill. Let me do that.
You do stuff all day. All I do all day is convince myself that ghosts are talking to me.
I know, but I'm an insomniac who can't sit still. Of course I'm going to do stuff all day.
I know.
If I don't, I kind of pull my own hair out. Why do you think I have so little?
This one comes up in my life pretty often, which is, can you pause the TV? I want to tell you a quick World War II story. As if you were there. Like you say that shit to me like you were there.
What's funny is that's true. And that happens so often that I don't even, whenever that time happened, I don't even remember which World War II story it was.
I know.
There's a common criticism really just in my circle of people, which are very different people than most people, of World War II gets too much play. It's almost, it's seen as sort of,
it's
like
oversaturated.
It's kind of the Nickelback of if we're talking post-grunge rock, okay? We're talking Three Doors Down, Nickelback, Stained, Creed, bands like that. World War II is sort of the Nickelback of that, where it's so oversaturated that people eventually are like, oh, great, another Hitler documentary. Oh, great, and another thing about the Pacific. I've now gone full circle with that belief. World War II is the greatest story that ever happened.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty incredible.
It's like, it is Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And that's why World War II gets so much play. Everything else is kind of like, it's a little bit simpler. It can get boiled down. It was quicker.
I'm a Cold War gal.
Cold War is real interesting too. And you know that I'll thank you for letting me know, because I'll talk to you about Cold War stuff all the time.
It's more of a passive way of fighting.
Who's your Who's your favorite Soviet leader, though? Besides Stalin. You can't say Stalin. You can't say Stalin.
I can't say Stalin. I can't say Stalin.
Yeah, who's your favorite?
I don't know, girl.
It was probably Khrushchev, right? You know, I'm embarrassed.
Where was Rasputin? Where was he in history?
He was turn of the 20th century.
Okay.
He was so when.
I don't know why he just feels. I know he's not. I know he's more of a mystical.
You're not.
I'm not. I'm not trying to connect the two.
I'm saying like, are you introducing Jack History Hour or no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So they made the Disney movie I never saw, but Anastasia, the Romanovs.
Yeah.
So basically, the last Tsar, Nicholas II, I believe, he was the last ruler of like the Empire of Russia before the Soviets. They had the revolution, the communist revolution with Lenin and Trotsky, and then eventually Stalin took over and all that stuff like that. But beforehand, it was very similar to the French Revolution, where it's basically whenever there's any of these like people-led revolution, it's for the people, all these things. That number one thing you gotta do is kill the oligarchs, the leaders, especially for like an empire like that, like get rid of the fucking Romanovs. And Rasputin was, you're right, kind of a mystical, because at this point where it's kind of, well, what did he do for this family? But he was involved. He was involved. He was also a very tall man, and apparently people tried to kill him a lot. Now the rumor is that he had a huge dick, and that was like kind of the Rasputin. Yeah. Fun. And also, it's one of those things too. If his name was Bob, we wouldn't be talking about him. Rasputin? So oh my God. He looked like he was It's
like Rumpelstiltskin.
He's Rumpelstiltskin. Exactly.
Yeah.
He looks like he was also like an original member of ZZ Top.
Yeah.
That helps the myth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Jack's History Hour for this episode.
It is.
Anything else?
Nope. I think we should probably wrap up.
Okay.
Because I have no idea how long we've been recording for.
Next week we're going to talk about Dave Grohl.
Oh my God. Yeah, we are. And hopefully next week we'll have more info. I don't know. Yeah. We probably won't actually.
I mean, it's going to be a victory lap for me, right?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I've said it on a podcast yet, but I'm very wary of any time.
I think you did.
Anytime the whole internet. That's why I'm like, watch out for Dolly Parton, guys. Watch out for Keanu Reeves. I'm serious. Everybody's a person. Stop making people Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
When they're just regular people. They all cheat. They all do something. Maybe Dolly's perfect. I don't know. I don't buy it.
I don't know. But anyways, please subscribe to this channel, por favor. And that's about it. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Boom. See you then.
Boom. Kisses and love.